Tired of the same old boring pasta? Well, here are 3 healthy pasta recipes that are actually delicious. So first up, we're gonna be making a deconstructed chicken parmigiana pasta. I'm gonna start by prepping our veggies. I have a vine-ripened tomato that I'm just gonna dice into chunks. We have 3 cloves of garlic, finely minced, and then a few handfuls of baby spinach that I'm gonna be adding to the pasta later. So for a chicken parmigiana, you usually have that melty mozzarella cheese on top, but we're actually gonna be using it in a different way, and I'm gonna show you in the cooking process later. I'm just using half a ball of the fresh mozzarella here, and we'll cut it into chunks. Now we'll move on to our chicken. I'm using 2 chicken breasts here, and we'll just wrap them in between 2 sheets of plastic wrap, pounding it down to a thin and even size so that it cooks evenly. So you can use a meat tenderizer, a meat mallet, the bottom of a pan, but I just have this rolling pin here and it'll do the job. Now to season, I'm just gonna sprinkle some salt and pepper on top, and then a little bit of garlic powder and some Italian seasoning. Now they're done, we'll let them hang out on a plate for a little bit and then we'll start cooking. Okay, so now moving on to the pasta, I'm using 2 cups of short pasta for this. You could use spaghetti if you'd like, but I just feel like penne makes it easier to eat. Now get a large pan or pot and we'll do a deconstruction of our chicken parmigiana. First we'll drizzle in some olive oil, and then I have half a cup of panko. We're gonna just toast up the breadcrumbs here with a little bit of garlic cloves that we've already minced, just a little bit of it, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, some salt, and then I like to add a little bit of lemon zest for a nice pop of freshness. This just gives the breading some interest. Once it's nice and toasty, we'll transfer it to a bowl and then clean out the pan so nothing gets burnt. Add a little more olive oil to the pan and we'll cook off our chicken. I'm just gonna lay it down and pan fry it on each side for about 3 to 4 minutes until it's cooked through, and then we take it off heat, set it aside, and cut it into chunks or slices, however you like it in your pasta. Then to put everything together, we'll use the leftover oil in the pan, add more if you need it, and then we'll toss in the remaining garlic and our diced tomatoes and cook them together until they're just fragrant. Then pour in 1.5 cups of your favorite marinara. I love using Rayos for this, they just have the best flavor, but any jar of marinara will do. Add the pasta and let everything simmer for a few minutes. I just love when the pasta soaks in all the sauce instead of just getting coated, so we let it sit for a little bit. Then we'll add in our chicken, the spinach, some fresh basil leaves, and just give it a final mix. Turn off the heat, and then we add in our mozzarella chunks. The residual heat will make it nice and melty so that when you serve, it'll stretch. All right, smells so good, but now to serve, I'll grab a nice scoop onto my plate, and then we'll top it with our breadcrumbs for that slight crunch, and then a hit of Parmesan cheese. And voila, this is my healthier version of the classic Parmigiana, all the flavors you crave without the extra fried greasiness. Now I'm making a brown butter summer veggie pasta, layering loads of fresh flavors, and I'm even adding burrata. Enough said. Okay, so we're gonna start by prepping our veggies. I'm using cherry tomatoes here, zucchini, and corn. I'll just chop the zucchini into half moons, or you can leave them round if they're on the smaller side. Now we'll shuck our corn. I have this corn stripper that I find really useful, but you can always cut it with a knife safely. Or in a pinch, you can always use frozen corn because that works great too. Now we'll thinly slice up 2 garlic cloves and our veggie prep is done. This is the summer trifecta since they're in season and so sweet and delicious right now. So our pasta is going to be cooked in this gorgeous silky brown butter sauce, but we're layering an herb oil or Italian salsa verde that goes so well with the burrata later. It's kind of like a pesto, but it's made with parsley. It has this salty acidity that makes it nice and bright. So in a food processor or blender, I'll add in 1 cup of packed Italian parsley. This is the flat leaf kind, and I'll just tear it up into the food processor. 2 garlic cloves, a teaspoon of anchovy paste. This adds so much flavor, and if you don't have it, you can always substitute with fish sauce. 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, 2 teaspoons of capers to give it that briny acidic taste, and then half a cup of olive oil. I'll blend it all up until it looks slightly emulsified, and this may takes quite a bit, so you can use the leftover for meat, sandwiches. It goes with so many things, and it's pretty addicting too. So we have our salsa verde, our prepped veggies, and now we're gonna cook everything off. I'm actually gonna boil the pasta according to the package's direction as we're doing the veggies because it comes together so fast and it's really great for a weeknight meal. So in a rather large pan, I'll add some olive oil, let it get nice and hot, and then we'll sear off our cherry tomatoes. This will give you that roasty burst of cherry tomatoes in your mouth, but we're gonna let them sit for a few minutes. Then I add in 4 tablespoons of butter and a pinch of salt. Now we're gonna let the butter melt, let the milk solids get nice and brown. So once it reaches that golden color, we'll toss in our chopped zucchini, our corn, and sliced garlic from earlier. We'll let them continue cooking for about another minute, and then we'll pour in a 1/4 cup of white wine to make it nice and saucy. We'll add in our cooked pasta, our pasta water in case you need it, a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, a handful of fresh basil leaves, and now stir and mix it all up. Now to serve, I add it into a large bowl, top it with our burrata that I'll just tear into smaller pieces so that the cream inside just oozes out, a drizzle of our Italian salsa verde, and a final garnish of basil. Finish it off with a little bit of salt and pepper. This brown butter summer veggie pasta with burrata is the easiest pasta dish that'll bring all of the fresh market flavors home onto your plate. This is what real food tastes like. Pretty healthy too. Your favorite broccoli cheddar soup gets a pasta makeover in this broccoli mac and cheese. For the pasta, we'll be using these medium-sized shells. You can always use the classic elbow, but I feel like these hold the cheese sauce much better, so I'm gonna go with these. So we'll go ahead and cook it how we've done in the last few recipes according to the package's directions. We'll drain and set aside. So for the remaining ingredients, our cheddar and our broccoli, whenever you're making mac and cheese, always go for the block of cheese instead of the pre-shredded ones, just because they have like anti-caking agents and it doesn't make the cheese melt very well, so I always put in the extra effort to shred the cheese like this. We're gonna shred this block of cheddar cheese that's 8 ounces. I'm using sharp cheddar because I like that kick that it adds to the sauce. And for the broccoli, I'm using frozen broccoli here, about 2 cups because I forgot to buy fresh ones. I know. All the prep was so simple, now it's time to cook off our cheese sauce. Alright, so this is no ordinary powdered cheese sauce from a box. It's a creamy, flavorful one, and it's really simple to make. In our pan, we'll start by melting 2 tablespoons of butter, and once it's nice and melty, we'll go ahead and add in 2 cloves of garlic along with 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. It says moutarde on the thing. A 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme and a 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano. We'll give it a good mix, and then we'll add in 2 tablespoons of flour to make a roux. I'm gonna let the flour and the butter cook off until it's nicely golden brown and a little bit bubbly for about a minute, and then we'll whisk in 1½ cups of whole milk. While you're adding in the milk, make sure to mix thoroughly because the mixture of the flour and the milk tends to clump up and we want a smooth sauce. So once you add the milk in, you want to let the sauce thicken up enough to coat the back of a spoon. Now we add in our shredded cheese, give it another mix, and then we'll throw in our broccoli. Let it cook on low heat for about 5 minutes until it's softened. You can also throw in a carrot cut into matchsticks here, but again, I forgot to buy it. But of course, just make sure to cook the veggies on low heat because you don't want the cheese to curdle. This way we get a nice, luscious cheese sauce that you're looking for. So be patient. Now throw in our cooked pasta, give it one last mix, making sure every shell is coated in this cheese sauce, and that is the sound of a satisfying, creamy broccoli mac and cheese. All right, let's serve. So even though I think this is perfect the way it is because it's kid friendly, you guys can customize this and make it different in so many ways. You can add a little bit of hot sauce, some buffalo sauce, a little bit of barbecue sauce, even smoked paprika to just take it to that next level. And this is so good, even my kids would eat it with the broccoli, yes.
My mac and cheese is my favorite.
That's your favorite, huh?
Mac and cheese and broccoli is my favorite.
If you guys like these pasta recipes, go ahead and check out these pasta videos right here. You want me to do it for you? What?
Because I love this one.
Do you like this one or this one?
No, this one.
Because they're the same.
It's not cheesy.